Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Draw on Top Pop Culture. I'm your guy, Raymond Leonard, coming through with another great episode. Before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe and click on that button and click that bell so you know when I'm updating, you get a notification. Let's get into it. Spawn versus Batman. Oh yeah, one of my favorite crossovers, and we finna talk about it. Let's get into it. Okay, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We here. I'm not gonna, go through the whole entire book, but we're just gonna break it down and have some fun. Now, Spawn and Batman was one of those crossovers that everyone just couldn't wait to get. This was during when the image was just exploding, man. Everybody loved Spawn, and when they had announced that crossover event back in 1994, everybody was just excited, man. I never forget that because I was a part of that. I couldn't wait to get to the comic shop to get both crossover events, because you got to remember, it was one that was did by DC also, which was called, I think, War Devil, I believe. And then, you had Image. It had their crossover that was, of course, produced by Todd McFarlane and Frank Miller. Frank Miller wrote it. Todd drew it. As you can see the picture right here, when they first encountered Batman with the boomerangs, giving it to Spawn. These pages were so just phenomenal to me, y'all. I mean, like when I was doing my younger days as a teen, this stuff blew my mind and still does by looking at it years later. I couldn't believe it that we had got a crossover, because with Todd and his way of telling Image and DC that he was never going to work for them anymore. I thought we would never get this, but we got it. I thought we would have got a Spider-Man, but then I was like, no, he didn't like Marvel. He didn't like Marvel that much anymore. So, I was surprised we had got a Batman crossover. It was just shocking that it happened. It really did happen. And man, let me tell you, when I had got this issue, the comic book shops were flooded. I'm talking people was buying this crossover from left and right, y'all. And this book did, it was a McFarlane production, and you could tell that Frank Miller wrote it just by how, when you read it, it felt like a real, like a crime novel. You feel like you can read this book in the dark. When it's nighttime, you got your night reading lamp on. But yeah, man, this book was one of my favorites, man, and I love the pages. Let's get back into more of these pages we're gonna look at. And this page right here, when Spawn was really getting his ass kicked by Batman. I'm talking Batman was laying it on him, y'all. He was putting it on him, and the Dark Knight really held his ground. This is what I liked about how they did this book. They made it fair. They gave each one they stand. Batman had got his first. I mean, he was putting it on Spawn. Spawn couldn't really do nothing with him. Batman just really stayed on him in combat way and every way, with the kung fu and everything. And I was really shocked to see how this was really going. And when you read this book, you was like, holy hell, Batman is really kicking Spawn's ass. and I like how they kept it fair. They kept it down the middle, because Batman is a regular guy. Spawn is more, he's a powerful guy. He got power from hell. But this page right here, Batman laid it on Spawn. For real, he did. I mean, he was knocking him side his head and everything. Now, as you read this book, you notice Spawn really took his time. He really didn't want to hurt Batman. He kind of hold back a little. He could have really just severely killed Batman if he wanted. But he didn't do it. He pretty much did, whoop Bruce's ass. And he had to use some of his powers to do it. He cheated a little because he broke his ribs. But he did held back on Batman. He could have really severely just ended Batman's whole entire life. But that's where he wasn't trying to do that, you know. But the two, they just had a really misunderstanding of what was going on, who was the real threat, which was a terrorist lady that had rockets and stuff that was gonna blow up the world. But you know, this book was just a fun read, man. You could like really just enjoy this book just as a fandom, because that's what it was. People wanted to see this, and to me, Todd McFarlane and Frank Miller delivered on that. And of course, after each other, they had a misunderstanding. They talked all about it. They went out and they seeked the real threat, and they put a stop to it. You know, Spawn used his powers to pretty much dissolve all the cybernetic terrorist machines, and they stopped the rocket ship and all that stuff. But this scene right here that you see, this was so iconic. It was a double-page splash page, and you can just tell that when Frank Miller wrote that script for this particular shot, you can tell Todd just couldn't wait to do that. Batman and Spawn side by side, you know, swinging in there. You know, Spawn with the long cape and his chains, and you got Batman with his rope and his crown and his, you know, the bat cape. And, you know, you got the moon in the background. It just set the tone for a great book, man. You can just tell these was Dark Knight Avengers, you know, that do justice in the night. And that's the tone. The tone set all for that. And you know, just a fun read that you can just relax and just read it, and you know, go on with your day, because it's just a fun read. You don't really get that type of funness anymore in certain comics anymore. You know what I mean? You know, you got all these talking heads and stuff, man, and just carry on. You just get bored. But this was actually a comic book that you could enjoy. It had action. It had drama. It had, you know, made you laugh, because it had little jokes in there that they was throwing in there. I mean, this is what you call a great book. You know, and again, this right here, this could have been a wall poster. Straight wall poster. I believe it was a poster. But the art was just phenomenal, man. I mean, you could just read this book over and over and never get tired. And last but not least, the ending was phenomenal. This was the very last ending. Batman got his last revenge from that when Spawn busted up his ribs. So Batman reminded him, "You're an asshole, Al Simmons." You know, and he threw the boomerang in his face. And if you notice, when this happened, Todd took that and he kept it going in each Spawn book. That Spawn had to sew his face up with a shoestring, all due to the fact that the batarang from Batman throwing it really damaged his face, because, you know, Spawn is like a zombie type, but, you know, that severely kind of damaged his face. He always had to like use a shoestring to keep his face intact, you know. And man, that left the real dagger in Al Simmons' face for real. And I was like, wow, this was the coolest shot ever. It's like it had to be done. And this shot never gets old, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you call a classic money shot. Real talk. This was the splash page that made you go, wow, oh my God. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Spawn versus Batman. Well, Spawn crossover, how you want to put it. It was a great read. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was fun. You know, you couldn't like relate what was going on. You know, there wasn't no preaching or nothing in the book and nothing like that. It was just a great book that you can enjoy. And you know, this type of book you can find in the quarter bin if you're lucky. You can find in the quarter bins when eventually, hopefully, when the conventions open back up due to the pandemic, you know, kind of shut down everything. But you can at least find these in the quarter bins, man. This is a great book. I mean, if you like it, check it out. Read it at night. It's fun reading it at nighttime. You know, something about this book, you just can read it at nighttime. You know, that's the type of book it was. But anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you for tuning in once again at Draw Top Pop Culture. And make sure you subscribe and you share this video with all your friends who love talking about comics and good old-fashioned life of just living what you love, growing up as a kid. You can't beat that, So you guys have a blessed day. I'm out. Another episode will be coming soon. Raymond Leonard, I'm out. Draw top puck cup. Ooh, I messed that up. Draw top pop culture, y'all. Y'all take care. I'm out.